Ooh. Ooh. Look at this sweeping shot. Oh.
What's wrong?
Look at the skin tones, the color grade. It's so rich. They really nailed it. You know, darker skin tones are usually a bit tougher to get right. Oh, I love the handheld approach.
Stop! Not gonna hurt you. Do you know what hand mines are?
Hand mines? Whoa. Oh my god, that is so creepy. Oh my god. It's almost kind of like the sandworms in Dune. I mean, similar concept, right? Speak of the devil. There's my guy.
Can you see me?
Oh, look at the smile.
The device in your hand is
The relief almost.
corridor.
Come on!
Ooh, the score.
Introduce yourself.
Davros. My name is Davros.
That one? Yeah.
Hello? Are you still there?
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's that age-old concept, right? Or question. Could you kill baby Hitler or child Hitler for that matter? So he met Davros long before he was actually that individual I saw a few seasons ago, right? Hey, I've been here before, right? Yeah, didn't the 11th come here? Hey, I've been here before. What you doing?
Apparently we have a security breach. What does Davros want with the doctor?
He survived. Last I saw, he was about to get blown apart. I mean, Tennant or the 10th tried. You know, oh, Karn. Oof. Oh, yes. I've seen them recently.
Colony South. Davros remembers.
Oh.
Tell him.
Hey, look who it is. Yeah, but see, that's the question now.
What have you done?
Or maybe the real question is, did you not do something that you should have done?
I am.
Oh, there it is.
He has a weakness. If you seek the doctor,
Companions.
first seek his friends.
Have you got any more?
Coming.
Oh, you so fine. Ah, hey Missy. Ah, there. Okay, episode 1. She's back.
Today I should be
Ah.
okay, cutting to the chase, not dead, back, big surprise, never mind.
I like it. Ooh. Is that Gallifreyan? The writing?
It's a confession dial. The last will and testament of the Time Lord, known as the Doctor, to be delivered according to ancient tradition to his closest friend
Ooh.
on the eve of his final day.
So,
What are you doing? You said I thought. No. It was delivered to me.
I was just gonna ask. So,
To me. What have you got to do with it? I'm his friend. You're just.
I'm just what?
See that couple over there?
oh,
You're
the dog.
puppy. Supposed to believe that you've turned good. Good.
Yeah. So, she's a bad girl. No.
No, I've not turned good.
Oh shit.
Fire.
Oh, wow, I'm on a roll.
Good.
Thanks for bringing spares. The Doctor has one last night to live. If he's certain his
Ooh,
fate
she's
on the
got
end of his
the-
life, where in all of space and time would he go?
Can't remember the name, but the thingy.
Yes, Earth, obviously, but where?
There we go.
Magician, they say. I mean, they've joked about him kind of looking like a magician before, right? Yeah.
How's the
Time travel
supposed
thing.
to die?
The cheap time travel thing.
Meditation.
River Song uses it all the time. Ah. That reaction.
4 vortex manipulators, yours a slave to mine. Cheap and nasty time travel.
Yeah, sure is. That's the name.
Okay, how do we find him? How do we know what we're looking for?
Anachronisms. The
Okay.
slightest, tiniest
Tiniest?
anachronism.
Oh my god! The tank. He's a rock star. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, this is Capaldi's doctor now.
Dude, what is that? You said you wanted an axe fight.
Ah!
He doesn't know we're here, does he?
Ah! Who's he playing that for? Ah! Missy looking up.
I'd like you to meet a couple of friends of mine.
Yeah.
How did you know I was here? Did you see me?
When do I not see you?
Oh, one face and all of that crowd.
There was a crowd too.
Oh,
We're doing charm as well now, are we? Which one of us is dying?
look at this, initiating the hug.
And we're doing hugging now too. Can't you?
Yeah.
This isn't you.
What the hell are you up to, Matt?
It's the wicked stepmother, everyone. Hiss!
She's so great.
Are you so dangerous, little man?
You watch your mouth.
You want to know how dangerous I am? Davros sent you. You know how stupid you are.
You came.
You came.
Ah.
Davros is my arch enemy. Why would I want to talk to him?
No, wait, hang on a minute. Davros is your arch enemy now. I'll scratch his eye out.
Davros.
I.
knows. Davros remembers.
Doctor, the look on your face. What is that?
Oh.
Shame.
Oh. He left him, didn't he? He actually did it. That's interesting. That's fascinating. Because ultimately, that isn't really the doctor, is it? Leaving a child behind. I know. He grows on to become Dark Lord of Skaro and all that, but interesting.
Davros
Because
made the Daleks. But who made Davros?
ooh, that notion of the monster you created, perhaps.
Doctor,
It's interesting, the inflection in his voice there. Didn't seem hateful at that moment. More so, okay, he's here. I'll scratch his eye out.
I approve of your new face, Doctor.
Ah,
So much more like mine.
but he's seen it. To be fair, he saw it as a child though. And that must have been long time ago, right?
Something contagious.
Everything we saw, everything we lost.
If someone who knew the future pointed out a child to you and told you that that child would grow up totally evil, to be a ruthless dictator who would destroy millions of lives, could you then kill that child?
It's warm, isn't it?
It
Deep
shouldn't be
space,
warm.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Unless when you're part of the atmosphere, you start syncing with the spectrum.
Why would anybody hide a whole planet?
Whoa.
I would rather depend on the planet, dear.
Ooh, this look.
They built it again. They brought it back. No.
Oh.
What?
Oh.
What is it? Where are we?
Skaro!
Restored to former glory. Last I saw it, I think
Skaro.
Asylum of the Daleks?
The beginning.
It was the beginning.
Where it all started.
Ooh, that looks really good.
You just need one thing.
It's a dangerous angle. A Time Lord.
Me. A time lady to show you how it works.
Time Lady. Excuse me.
With this, and
Oh,
with
look at the
me,
black one.
Everything can be yours.
Maximum extermination. Exterminate.
my god.
Please.
I've seen it before, though. I don't think she's
Please,
dead.
I'm begging you, please.
Whoa.
Please, please save Clara.
I gave the Daleks life. I do not control them.
Yeah. I saw as much the last time I saw him. Oh. Oh.
Their blood is screaming. Kill.
Thrill of the hunt.
Kill.
They'll have to explain how Missy peeks. No. Really? Because I don't buy for a second that Missy's dead, or Clara for that matter.
Why have I ever let you live?
Hmm.
Compassion, Doctor. It has always been your greatest indulgence.
Oh. Ah.
Compassion is wrong.
No. I feel like part 2 is going to explain a lot of these things. This really feels like the series opener for Series 6.
Who are you? How did you get there?
Oh, it is.
Future.
Are you gonna save me?
Yeah, he's got some
I'm gonna save my friend.
shirts on.
The only way I can. Exterminate.
Duh. All right, so Series 9, Episode 1. Good episode. Good start. Really good start, I think. In terms of the structure, it really reminded me of The Impossible Astronaut, right? The Series 6 premiere. In the sense that, a lot of these things that are happening, they feel like things that are going to be explained, right? At this point in time, a lot of these things feel really almost impossible, right? In the sense that, oh, look, Clara just died. Oh, look, Missy just died yet again, right? But of course, us audience knows, no, Clara did not just die. And surely Missy didn't die, actually die this time. I feel like it's the same thing that helped her get out of there in the first place, right? In the Series 8 finale. That's kind of the lingering question at this point, right? Us, the audience, is asking it and thinking about it. And then, of course, you have Clara, who's been thinking about that as well, right? On a few different occasions throughout this episode. I mean, essentially, a good portion of this episode, a solid chunk of this episode is Dr. Light. It's a Dr. Light episode almost, right? Of course, after that incredible cold open, I mean, that's got to be one of the best. That's got to be one of the best of the series. I mean, that is just a legitimate jaw dropper of a cold open, right? For many different reasons, of course. I'll get into that, but let's kind of stick to the conclusion of the episode, right? The cliffhanger, as these two-parters, I suppose, tend to have. And then, of course, that's another reason that it really reminded me of the Series 6 opener. The cliffhanger and all of these head-scratching moments, right? I've been at it long enough now to know that there is a bit of a formula to a lot of these episodes, to a lot of these two-parters, perhaps, or multiple episode stories. Usually, the first episode of a two-parter is the one that leaves you kind of, again, scratching your head. A lot of baffling moments, a lot of moments that make you go, how exactly did that happen? Or how exactly are they going to dig themselves out of that hole, right? But ultimately, as I've experienced over the past few years at this point, they dig themselves out. Somehow, it always makes sense, right? You just kind of have to get to the next part. And you see right at the end there, the doctor showing up, right? Once again, but this time, he's got I guess he's got the Dalek cannon in hand, right? And he's ready to exterminate. Or, they do their best attempt at making you think that he's ready to do it. Us, the audience, knows the doctor now, right? That's not the doctor. The doctor is not going to kill a child. It's just not going to happen, right? So right then and there, something really exciting, or maybe fascinating. Maybe exciting is not the right term. something really fascinating led up to that, right? There, you could just tell right at the end there, something happened, right? There's this blank essentially that is going to be filled in, I'm sure, in the next episode, that goes from, a collection of cliffhangers essentially, right? Missy getting shot, maximum extermination. I'm not sure if there's, any difference or if that even really matters. But yeah, it was interesting to hear that term. Of course, Clara gets shot. The TARDIS blows up apparently. Destroyed. Of course not, right? Of course not. If you just kind of look at the basics of it, the Doctor goes back to that moment, right? And the clothing, it's the same clothing he had just a few moments ago in that room. It's him and Davros in that room. Same shirt. He had like this pinkish red undershirt, right? And then a hoodie, and then he's got his jacket on top. Like I said, I love the fit. I'll get into the whole new personality that he's really kind of embracing at this point. I mean, it's not really new, right? You see Clara is really quite baffled. Once they kind of break off from that hug, she tells him, this isn't you. And also, a bit earlier, a few moments before that hug, it's her and Missy kind of, talking about this new attitude that's on display. But then Missy, she notices, okay, you really are quite new. Because again, that relationship, the master, or in this case, Missy and the Doctor, it is such a nuanced relationship, right? So complex, as she herself stated in that sit down in a gorgeous location. And it's certainly not England, I'm sure of that. Kind of look like Italy, maybe Spain. I mean, their friendship is so old that Missy recognizes this, right? She recognizes the different cycles the Doctor kind of goes through, right? And then ultimately kind of finding himself at this point, right? You see that the Doctor is embracing the idiot in a box personality of his. A lot of the last series, especially the first half of it, you see a lot of the grumpy Doctor, right? But here you see, again, the idiot in a box. He's really having a lot of fun, really embracing it all, embracing the goofy nature. You see that he's really, really letting loose. And his introduction here, my goodness, rock star, absolute rock star, right? The magician, the rock star. Yeah, this is Capaldi's Doctor now. That's for damn sure, right? That felt like a moment. To me, that really felt like the big moment, or one of the big moments in the Capaldi era, right? Him coming in, his introduction, essentially. He likes to make an entrance, as all of us know, and as people like Missy know as well, right? And not just Missy, you've got, Unit. They know the Doctor so much that they know some of these intricacies of the Doctor. They know how the Doctor functions. They've done a lot of research. They've put in a lot of time into this individual. But yeah, his entrance there is just electric to say the least. You'll have to let me know, but yeah, he certainly makes it look like he's playing the guitar himself there, right? He's really selling it. He's really selling it. Unless, of course, he's actually playing it himself. And if that's the case, not surprised. Capaldi is quite impressive, isn't he? So yeah, it's a great moment. It's an episode that has a lot of great moments. But then, of course, the business end of the episode, it gets really serious, doesn't it? I mean, the opening and the business end, really serious stuff. But let's kind of refocus on the conclusion at this point. He shows up. He's got that little, Dalek cannon thing. Of course, he has to show up there somehow, right? And of course, he time traveled back to that point using the TARDIS, most likely, right? So the TARDIS is not gone, right? And this is the point I was making earlier. I'm sure they'll explain, even if it feels like impossible to explain, I'm sure they'll have something really quite interesting, right? In the second part of this two-parter, most likely. But yeah, he time travels back to that point, and like I said earlier, it appears that he's about to shoot the child that's in front of him, right? This helpless child. This child who is not yet the monster that he goes on to become the Dark Lord of Skaro, right? Did they use that term before? In Journey's End? I'm not sure. Yeah, it's been some time now, but I remember that episode. I remember Davros really having a go at the 10th Doctor, right? He really had a lot of things to say of the Doctor as a part. I mean, the Doctor tried. I see footage of it in this episode. I mean, anytime you see footage of past episodes, right? And some of these episodes decades ago as well, to me, always feels special. So even at that point in the conclusion of Journey's End, you see that the Doctor, Tennant's Doctor at that point, still tries to save him, right? But again, he's not having it. He lets him hear it. He lets the Doctor hear it. And then that's the last I saw of him until now. So, that's another question. Is it a question that's going to be answered? How exactly did he survive that? Is it really something that really matters in the long run? Him surviving that isn't really a question that I'm really, really dead set on needing an answer for, right? But there's a few things I certainly need an answer for. How did Missy survive in the finale, in the Series 8 finale? And if you're asking me, once again, as she gets shot by the Daleks there, it wouldn't make any sense, right, to bring her back. And, I kind of liked how they handled it, right? It was a little bit meta in that sense, right? Look, I'm back. Oh, let's move on. It was like a really quick, I'm back, almost as if no one actually expected her to be dead at that point. And you see that the writing of the show, Moffat, kind of leans into that, doesn't he? But still, even if there is a fantastic line of dialogue, right? Dying is for others, I still need some kind of answer for that, and I'm sure they'll explain it. That's usually reserved for follow-up episodes, right? Part 2s and all that. But yeah, a few other quick appearances or footage. Rice pudding, unlimited rice pudding, got a chuckle out of me. But yeah, the most important one appears to be the last one. And the last one was the Doctor I recently saw. He made a lovely cameo in The Day of the Doctor. But here I see him in his younger days. But here he's not being goofy, right? Here he's not being carefree or goofy or having fun. Here he's being really quite serious, right? And again, it's that question, right? He doesn't quite, present it as the Hitler, the child Hitler conundrum, but it's the same question nonetheless, right? Could you do it if you had that foreknowledge? Could you do it? Could you kill that child, right? But as you might have noticed throughout the episode, I was kind of going back and forth internally, because you see that Davros is actually almost taunting the Doctor, right? Almost giving us, the audience, an answer before it even actually shows us. Because ultimately, the Doctor knows it, and us, the audience, knows it. Davros, the young child on that battlefield, does survive. He survives. He goes on, right? Perhaps goes down that path, or not perhaps, he does go down that path, right? A lot of cynicism, perhaps, a lot of bitterness from that point on, perhaps. And you see that the Doctor actually is alluding to the fact that he actually might have played a role in his trajectory, that he might have played a hand in his trajectory, onto becoming this Dark Lord of Skaro. Again, Skaro has been rebuilt. Last I saw in the Asylum of the Daleks, it was carnage, destruction, absolute destruction. But yeah, it's been returned to its former glory, as showcased by Missy's own reaction, quite baffled and almost terrified reaction. That's the first time I've seen Missy legitimately have a look of concern, right? Because up until this point, it's just been all fun and games almost, right? I say fun and games, but you see, that moment. I've not turned good. You'll have to forgive me. I tried my best. But I love that moment. You see that? She's playful. It's a lot of fun, but at a moment's notice, there's a reminder that no. It might appear that way, but she's still capable of that, right? Yeah, really quite capable of that still. But yeah, you know, I've got to say, I really like Missy in this role, in this capacity. This team up even, this duo, Clara and Missy together, yeah, I mean, it made for a lot of fun moments, a lot of engaging moments, those two bouncing off of each other. I enjoyed it. So I really do enjoy Missy in this capacity as well. I'm not sure how long it can potentially last, right? Her and Clara, or all three of them together. But yeah, it makes for a lot of excitement, right? Or it makes for a lot of exciting moments, doesn't it? A lot of fun moments, having all of these fantastic characters bouncing off of each other. Just a lot of great banter, and you know, through these two kind of coming together, because of the absence of the Doctor, you really get to learn a bit more. You know, there's a lot of great subtext there, I think, and some of it maybe not so subtle, but you still get some development in terms of this really complex Doctor and Master relationship. But you know, this frenemy aspect to their relationship, the Doctor and Missy, it's really quite fascinating, isn't it? And as Missy stated herself, really so much more complex than anyone is ever going to be able to understand. So I hope that continues as well, you know, exploring that relationship. Of course, you've got this confession dial that comes into the picture. I'm sure that is going to be one of those really important things, perhaps, throughout this next phase of the story, perhaps throughout this series altogether, series 9. You know, so that's certainly something to keep an eye out on, or eye out for. Yeah, I'm sure something quite fascinating might come out of that at some point, right? You usually get these season-long things, right? Plot points, questions. So yeah, you know, this appears to be one of those perhaps. But once again, let me kind of pull back to the ending. You know, I keep kind of deviating from the ending. So the Doctor comes back, right? To that point, boom, cliffhanger, right? Now, something's happened in that time span that, I don't know, makes him ultimately come back to this point, right? Again, I'll find out most likely. But like I mentioned earlier, I do not think even for a second that he's going to kill this child, right? I actually think this guilt, this shame that he's experiencing, right? You know, again, Capaldi is just phenomenal in this episode. A lot of, you know, facial acting, physical acting, because at one point he just looks so defeated, you know, almost as if he understands that he deserves everything that's coming at him at this point. So to me, it kind of felt like that Davros is taunting him about his compassion, right? Again, his greatest indulgence. And, you know, he believes that this shame, this guilt that he carries, that the Doctor carries, is from the fact that he does show compassion, that he does ultimately end up saving that child on the battlefield. Yet on the flip side, I think that the Doctor, and you know, this one is a little bit more concrete because us, the audience, knows the Doctor, that is against everything the Doctor believes in, right? And for that reason, you know, him leaving Davros on that battlefield in that cold open, you know, I believe the shame comes from that he does leave that helpless child on that battlefield. And then he also knows that, of course, this child goes on, gets out of there somehow, right? And I think that somehow actually might be the case at the conclusion there. It's the Doctor who does come back for him from the looks of it, right? And I say that because, again, I don't believe for a second that he'll kill him there. Because, again, if he kills him, even hypothetically, if he's in that mindset somehow, you know, after losing Clara, perhaps, even if he does it, the paradoxes that might come out of that are so insane, right? The butterfly effect. You could just go on and on and on about the things that might come out of that, right? But the thing is, it's right there. It's right there. He's holding a piece of the Dalek. He's holding a piece of the Dalek. He's there. Meaning that, of course, Davros does not die on the battlefield. Everything does play out. The Daleks are created. And he does come back to that point, right? But I think the most fascinating thing about this is, again, you know, that not disconnect, but that, you know, approach from each side. You know, Davros might be thinking This shame comes from the fact that he had the chance, the doctor had the chance, perhaps, to let him die, to end it there, to make sure it ends there, right? And of course, if he lets him die, there's no, trajectory, there's no path of cynicism and bitterness towards becoming the Dark Lord of Skaro and all that, creating the Daleks. And then, of course, the rest is history. Davros is looking at it from that perspective, right? That you had that chance, but you didn't take it. You showed compassion. So that, to me, is the most fascinating, right? Because, the cliffhanger isn't really a cliffhanger for us Doctor Who fans, for us Whovians, because that's our doctor, right? That's our guy. That's our dude. All of us know he's not going to kill a child. You see that this is happening to Capaldi's doctor. In the cold open, it's Capaldi's doctor, the 12th, that does come up, that does show up at that point. Now, again, another question that comes out of this is that just a coincidence? Did he just show up at that point in time? I don't think so, right? Surely there's a reason for this, showing up at that point in time, coming across a child, Davros. And again, it could totally be another case of the TARDIS taking the doctor to that point in time, specifically because it's important, really quite important, that the doctor be there and come across this or have this running. But yeah, it's great stuff. It really is. And I think the episode itself is a great start to the series, to series 9. The cold open is really, really one of the standouts of the episode itself. The photography, the directing. The directing throughout this episode is really quite fantastic. But yeah, that cold open really, really caught my attention. Really impressed. But yeah, Kenzo was it? Kind soul. He sees this child on the battlefield, and again, one of the standout moments is right at the beginning. During that cold open, that handheld shot of Davros, young Davros, trying to flee from the battlefield. Beautiful stuff. The photography is just top notch, isn't it? It keeps taking the next step up in terms of production, right? You can see it. You can just see it, right? The most recent significant jump was Series 5, right? The Matt Smith era, right? And then around the ending of that era, I saw a different type of color grade, I think. A different type of approach. But then the Capaldi era is a really distinct step up again, or maybe not a step up. There is a step up. I think there is certainly a step up in terms of production, but there's a distinct shift in the photography, right? And the shot choices, and how the camera kind of communicates with the audience. And also, I thought it was really fun, and I just thought it was so great to kind of go back to these locations that I've experienced throughout the series, throughout the last few series. At this point, the Shadow Proclamation, right? Karn. The first one I cannot remember, but I know. The 11th has been there. Karn, I saw much more recently. In the Night of the Doctor, right? They certainly have quite the relationship. The Sisterhood of Karn and the Doctor. And I saw some of that in the Night of the Doctor as well. But here you see, they're almost kind of like protecting the Doctor, right? Kind of acting as a shield for the Doctor in that sense. So really fascinating. I really enjoyed that aspect of it as well. Karn and that one lady, you'll have to excuse me, I cannot remember her name, or if I even got her name at this point. But I like her. And I hope to see more of her. So yeah, it was great to go to these locations. Jadoon, it was great to see the Jadoon guy. And the lady, of course, I've seen her before as well. So it was great that she made a bit of an appearance, bit of a cameo. But yeah, once again, I enjoyed that episode, right? You see that question, that internal struggle of, am I a good man? Almost immediately comes up once again, pops up once again, right? Even after you kind of get to see this new side of the Doctor, him embracing the idiot in a box persona of his, right? Really being himself again, essentially allowing himself to be himself again, right? As Missy kind of alludes to as well, you must be new, because she's seen this for a long, long time. Again, the cycle of the Doctor, right? And the different phases of the Doctor and the different funks of the Doctor. But yeah, that should do it for this one, folks. If you enjoyed that, consider dropping a like, consider dropping some comments, give me your thoughts. If you're interested in early access to the next episode right now, or perhaps even full length, of course, timer-based full length, you have to bring your own footage, of course. But yeah, if you're interested, the links are in the description for Patreon. There's also links to social media, things like Twitter or Instagram, if that's your thing. Yep. So thank you so much for joining me, folks, and thank you for your time once again, because time is precious. It really is. And I do hope to see you again soon for the next episode. Until then, take it easy.